You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Fiction, western and drama films earlier in his career. He'd been acting for, I believe, 60 years, so he's, really left us quite a lot of work. I believe over 200 credits to his name. So on a personal level, I definitely will miss his antics. I still remember when I first saw Flying High and the Naked Gun, and just being blown away by how kind of original those films were at the time and how incredibly hilarious they were. I guess that's all I have to say at this stage. Well, also we'll be looking at another film which is Nuts, which is not a comedy at all. That was actually his last dramatic role before he passed away. So over to you two if you have anything to say. Briefly.
No, I think that was.
No, let's get into reviewing these films.
All right, let's dive in then. We'll start off with Flying High then.
Nice.
Hey Larry, where's the forklift? Forklift? It's over there by the baggage loader.
Flying High, or Airplane, its original title, is the spoof movie that began them all. Made in 1980 by the Zucker-Abrahams-Zucker comedy team, the movie parodies the craze of disaster movies released towards the end of the 1970s, most specifically the Airport quadrilogy. These movies were made with all-star casts and always involved a passenger aeroplane in jeopardy. Here, the same thing applies, but instead is a full-length parody of all the cliches, characters, subplots and even music in these old-school pictures. Leslie Nielsen is amongst great company here with Peter Graves, Lloyd Bridges, Julie Haggerty, Robert Hayes, Robert Stack, legendary basketballer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and my personal favourite, Stephen Stucker, all putting in undeniably hilarious performances. I saw Flying High, as it's known in this country, a number of times at a very young age in the cinemas of Perth, and its lasting comedy stays with me to this day. I admit to not seeing its sequel for some reason, possibly a subconscious decision on my part in an attempt not to spoil the true magic of the original, one of the classic comedy films of all time. Recently I watched the film again on DVD with the ZAZ team's audio commentary on, and I discovered yet more ways to love this film, an experience I urge any fans of the film to pursue. Surely to know this film is to love this film. I went there. I had to go there. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt, so...
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, one of the all-timers for me. I can't even put a number on how many times I've seen it. I love it. It started the wave and basically defined it as well, because I think it's probably the best of all the spoof films as well. So
By a long shot.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Alright. Basically I agree with you. It's fantastic. The humour in it is just, I don't know, I mean, I guess it was kind of stupid humour back then and stupid humour now.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, And I believe there's like at least one line from it which is in the AFI's, the American Film Institute, top 100 quotes from movies. But I mean, even apart from that one, there's just so many great timeless lines that and I just rewatched it recently, and I'd seen it when I was a kid. It cracked me up back then, and it just cracks me up now. And I appreciate it on a different level. In some instances I didn't understand certain subtle, inappropriate jokes.
There's a lot of stuff you wouldn't be able to get away with nowadays.
Oh, man. That's
so
stuff
much stuff.
with Graves, like with the kid.
With the kid. Oh,
that was like
Lordy.
really pushing a friendship.
But even the other kids on the plane as well, how do you like your coffee? Like my men. Was it like black, like my men? It's just like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming out of like 8-year-old's mouth.
But then you look at it's kind of that poo bum humour really, isn't it? I mean, it's the same sort of stuff that they're doing in all the scary movies.
Yeah.
The really base comedy.
Yeah,
You know,
it is, yeah.
But not
So-
quite as crude, I think.
not as crude and a
Certainly.
little bit more clever.
Oh, definitely
You
more
know,
colourful.
yeah, a lot more.
There's
Yeah, check out.
there's a
Agree,
lot of, there's a
more
lack of the gross out stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just intelligent and a little bit, kind of shocking and inappropriate.
Oh, and very wacky.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I love that.
It's
Yeah.
just, have you been in a locker room? I was watching it, I was going, oh my
Have you been in
god.
a Turkish prison?
I was watching it all, I was like, how far does this go?
I'll just go up to someone and say, do you like gladiator movies?
Yeah, it's how gladiator.
Yeah, but one thing that I also find really interesting about this is that so many of the actors in this had never done comedy roles before this film.
It was Julie Haggerty's first
Yeah, it was her first film.
film role.
But like Leslie Nielsen, this was his first
First
comedy. Is it Peter Graves?
Peter Graves.
Peter
Yeah.
Graves,
Yeah.
I've got it.
Robert Hayes was the lead
Yeah.
character.
Lloyd Bridges, I don't believe had done
No,
comedy
I
before
think
this.
you might be right there too, and Robert Stack, who is known as kind of like a tough guy.
And I should say as well that Peter Graves and Barbara Billingsley, is that?
Mm.
Yeah, also both passed away last year. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I suppose I haven't given my review of this film.
No.
Like, I have the same nostalgic love of this film that you guys have. I suppose when I watched it, this part of me looked at how it had aged in a way, like how a new
Sure.
viewer would watch this and take the humour and not having being ridiculously biased from watching it previously and thinking it was hilarious. And I actually don't think it has aged very well.
Okay.
Like when I was watching it, I watched it again, and I was I was watching it. I knew the film, and I was doing a bit of work while I was watching it, and like of course there were moments. Leslie Nielsen, this was his first comedic role. He perfected the art of like saying something and then going like at the camera, you know what I mean, and giving that look that just made you laugh out loud.
Yeah.
He was so clever, but like I just I suppose I would not if I was watching this for the first time. I probably wouldn't find it that funny.
I think, is it Steven
Stucker.
Stucker, yeah, who played Johnny in there. I think his lines have probably definitely aged badly.
Is
Yeah,
that, okay,
yeah.
excuse my ignorance, is that the guy who's in the air control who's doing
Yeah,
all
the
the
balding
very
guy.
gay?
Yeah.
It was agitating, yeah.
Yeah.
I just...
Yeah, I love him the best. I love him the most.
Well, you see, when I was a kid, he was absolutely my favourite. His lines were the lines that I was constantly quoting.
Right, okay.
But now I just although I still got a laugh out of some of them, I think that by today's humour, it just wouldn't fly.
No,
Yeah.
it's...
Nice pun.
Anyway, it's my tribute to
Leslie. Yeah.
so that was my view my opinion of it.
Yeah, I mean,
in this day and age.
there's a couple of things in there from movies that are kind of long forgotten now that are actually sort of taken as a parody of those other films. So there's one, from Here to Eternity, when they're on the beach. And that hasn't been forgotten, obviously, but there's a couple of others in there, the war films. They lifted a bit of stock footage out of war films and put it in there and that sort of thing. I wanted to say that watch out for dodgy copies of this film, because there are certain copies that I've seen over the years that have taken out music. They must have had copyright issues.
Oh.
They've taken out the Jaws theme at the very start of the
Which was very
film.
clever.
It's clever, I thought. And also the ending song was different as well. So watch out for dodgy copies of those.
But
Yeah.
it's a cult classic, and everyone you have to
Yeah.
It's up there with like Top Secret. I mean, those guys,
Yeah,
they do all that. And
I can't believe it's not in the top 250.
Premiere voted it as one of the top 50 greatest comedies of all time.
Yeah. Also, I'd suggest checking out number 2. It really isn't bad at all.
Flying High 2?
Yeah, Flying High 2. I really had a good time with it. It's not a bad film. Having said that, I haven't seen it in years, but I really did enjoy it.
Okay, I'll check that out then.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's my personal opinion, my favourite comedy of all time.
Okay.
So 10.
Wow. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Yeah, I was going to go with an 8, but I've rewatched it twice in the past week, so I'm giving it a 9.
Oh, that's the way fabs.
covered by fog. Decision to proceed is yours. The decision is yours. It's yours. It's yours.
Shit, man. That hunky muff be messing my old lady? Got to be running coal upside down his head, you know?
Hey, home, I can dig it. No, he ain't gonna lay no more big rap up on you, man.
I say, hey, Sky. Subba say I won't sing. Pray to Jay, I did the same old, same old.
Hey, knock yourself a pro, slick. The gray matter back, lot performers down, not take TCB in, man.
Hey, you know what they say? See a broad to get that booty yak 'em? Leg her down or smack 'em, yak 'em. Cole got to be. You know? Shit.